real brief. It's really exciting to be sitting in front of you today, knowing that our first game is 5 days away. And I know our players are extremely excited. They've done such a great job with all of the necessary precautions that we've been taking, and I couldn't be prouder of the preparation leading up until this day. Excited about this week of practice. Finished up with our mock game on Saturday, ran through a bunch of different scenarios, had guys really dialed in mentally in terms of substitutions, situations of the game, of the field, and then kind of finalize the depth chart, if you will, and who's going to play, who's going to be in the rotation. And now it's on to game week. And I can tell you, I'm sure everybody in the country that has an opportunity to play this week is just as excited as our guys. But I couldn't be prouder of the steps that they have taken to get us to this point. Questions?
Go ahead, Adam.
Okay, hey Coach, I'm just kind of curious, can you talk about some of the safety precautions that you guys are planning to implement on game day, from like the time you guys get off the bus? You know, what will your players be allowed to do? Can they interact with other players from the other team? What do the sidelines look like? Curious about, halftime, just the safety measures that you guys are planning to take on Saturday.
Well, it's not just us planning to take them. It's a conference-wide mandate. I know this isn't a conference game, but we're going to take every precaution as if it were. And so we'll be testing on Friday morning as well as, Sunday and Wednesday leading up to it. And then on the sideline, we'll all have masks on if we don't have our helmet on. I know if you're not a player, we will certainly have our masks on as support staff and coaches. Our inner bubble, if you will all have been tested on Friday. That includes trainers, managers, coaches, everybody that comes in contact with our players. And then from my understanding is throughout the course of a game, it's a normal game. And, halftime is halftime. And, the theory being that at least in your inner bubble and your opposition's inner bubble, that everybody, at least as of that Friday, so 24 hours prior to the game, had tested negative. And so the masks on the sideline are certainly a precaution, but the theory should be that everybody that is on the sideline or in your locker room has tested negative within 24 hours.
Ryan, go ahead.
Hey, Tom. I wanted you to maybe expand on some of your thoughts on the coaches call that I haven't heard you talk about that I thought was great. Could you maybe take us back into that coaches meeting when you guys discussed the importance of a legitimate season? Do you just want to play games so the school can get money, or do you want to have a legitimate championship? And what were some of the back and forth involved with all that?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot with just coaches in there. It was, we want a legitimate season. But we also understand as coaches that those decisions are made by people that aren't coaches. And so our hope, our wish when we ended that call was simply that the decision makers take into account what the other couple Power 5 leagues that are playing are doing as well, and hopefully be in alignment with what their philosophy is. Because again, as I stated earlier on the call, there's kind of two ways to look at it, right? One way is, hey, we're going to get 10 games in, come hell or high water, and if you got to play, 9 walk-ons on either side of the ball, then so be it. As long as you got 53 able bodies, you guys are going to play, and I get that stance, but I think it's important that if we want to put our best foot forward in the postseason as well, that the other two Power 5 conferences are aligned in that philosophy as well. And because I think it can go either way, in terms of, are we trying to win the game or are we trying to play the game? And I think that adds some added questions there that it appears as though our conference leadership has answered those questions, and the 53 able-body number is here to stay, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Hey, Tom, I know there's some people that think that no matter what happens, that there'd be an asterisk on this season, but there seems to be a tougher journey given what you guys are going through. Do you guys understand how monumental a Big 12 title and a postseason appearance would be given the unique challenges they've had to overcome just to get to this point?
I think so. I think as we see more and more schools have hiccups along the way, as we've already seen with a cancellation or postponement of a game in our conference. I've seen reports that Rice, I know down in Houston, has had to shut down at least temporarily. So I think the more and more of those things pop up throughout the season with different teams and different conferences, that our guys are going to realize truly how special this season is. And if it is an asterisk, then I hope the asterisk says this was really, really hard to accomplish in 2020, because the things that these young men are having to do just to play and just to compete in the sport that they love is monumental and is an extremely tall task, a task that nobody in organized sports has ever been asked to do before. And so I think we certainly understand the gravity of this season and the challenges that are laid out in front of us. And we do know that if you come away from this crazy season that is 2020 with a championship under your belt, you've done something truly remarkable.
Max, go ahead.
Hey, Tom.
Got the cheeseburger out of your mouth, huh?
I never even asked you a question. Since this year doesn't count for anybody's eligibility, did you just use camp to try and get everybody ready to play? I mean, how do you approach that with your freshmen and your guys that would, in a normal year, basically redshirt?
Well, we try to have the stance here at Texas that, if we're doing our job recruiting, you're hoping that other than quarterback and offensive line, maybe a defensive lineman here or there, that your freshmen can make an impact for you, and that you don't have to redshirt very many guys because you need to develop them for an extended period of time. But this year is unique, and I think you're going to see almost every scholarship player probably get some meaningful snaps at some point this season. And so has it altered the way that we practiced? It has a bit. We are certainly getting a lot more work with our 3s and 4s. Don't want to do it at the expense of the wear and tear on your 1s and 2s. So we've actually stayed after practice to get those 3s and 4s, some scrimmage work, some 7-on-7 work, 1-on-1 pass rush, inside drill, you name it. So they have been given a lot more attention, knowing that they're going to play. And I think where you see it probably the most and actually have the most benefit is on special teams. It used to be very weary of playing, burning a guy's redshirt year just to play on special teams. Or then the 4-game rule was implemented, and then it became, okay, what 4 games are we going to play this guy on special teams? And now it's like, play the kid. And there's really nothing to worry about. And I've been on record before, and I hope this is a springboard, if you will, to allowing, to get rid of the 4-game redshirt rule, which, again, trust me, in my opinion, is light years ahead of where it was when you didn't have the 4-game redshirt rule. But my hope is in the very near future we can get to a 5-to-play-5 rule and not worry about redshirts ever again, and play as many freshmen as you want to run down on the kickoff team and play on your punt return team, and not have to worry about managing the number of games that they play in terms of burning a year. So our plan is, as has been, to rep our 3s and 4s much more than we ever have. And then certainly on special teams, we're playing a lot of those true freshmen because we know there's no downside to it.
Jeff, you're up.
Tom, you mentioned special teams. You were a graduate assistant in '99 for the NC State opener when there were all the block kicks, and Coach Brown really changed his view of your special teams after that game. I was wondering if that game at all impacted how you view special teams, and in terms of this season, when you just look at the kind of the truncated camp that you guys had, is the sense of urgency heightened even more than it would be, knowing that you always worry about the kicking game in an opener?
Not more heightened. No, I think people forget I was a special teams coordinator at Sam Houston State for 3 seasons, and so at a very young age, I was a believer in the importance of special teams and have carried that over to my time as a head coach as well. So I don't think we're doing anything different. Some of the schemes and teaching progressions are different with Coach Boulware here, but the level of urgency and the importance that we placed on it is par for the course right now.
Go ahead, Chip.
Tom, maybe 2 or 3 things that you feel best about right now, and 2 or 3 things you consider your biggest concerns?
Oh, I feel great about our starting quarterback. I feel great about our veteran offensive linemen. 3 guys that have a lot of snaps under their belt, and feel really good about our defensive front and the depth that we have, certainly on the interior of our defensive line. I think is going to be a tremendous asset for us. Things that I'm concerned about, we lost our 2 leading receivers by a wide margin, and replacing that production is certainly something that we've got to make sure happens. The depth and consistency at linebacker is been a topic the entire offseason and heading into the season. I really like where we're at, but those guys are a bit unproven, at least at those positions. And then things I'm worried about is making it through the dang season. We've got to be able to sustain this level of diligence the entire season, which for a group of 120 18 to 22-year-olds is going to be difficult, but certainly not impossible.
Roger, go ahead.
Tom, I imagine your guys are as excited about this opener as any in their football career because of the uncertainty, but you talk at all about what it'll look like and the old, create your own juice, because you don't know what even a home game will look or sound like this year?
I don't think that that's going to be as big a deal. I mean, we get pretty cranked up just for scrimmages around here, and so our spring game certainly not at capacity, but with some fans in the stands. So I'm not a whole heck of a lot concerned about our energy level, juice level, because it's been 9 months, December 31st, since we played an actual opponent, and so these guys are going to be extremely excited to play. And as I've said before, we'll play games in a parking lot if we have to at this point. And who's in the stands and how many of them are there, not really a huge concern of ours.
You're up, Bob.
Just back on that wide receiver concern that you have, where does that room kind of shake out right now? Who's really excited you, leading up to Utep and going through the offseason?
Well, I think Jake Smith and Jordan Whittington have both had really, really good, especially the last couple weeks, but entire training camps. And Tariq Black has certainly been a welcome addition to to that room and that unit. So those are the ones that really stand out for me right now. You know, obviously, you know, Troy O'Meary was headed in that direction when he got injured, and but the future is obviously very, very bright for that young man as well.
Danny, you're up.
Tom, your two new grad transfers, Gabriel and Brendan, are they going to be available for Saturday, and what do they bring to this offense?
Yeah, both of them will be available. Schooler just got cleared for practice a couple days ago. Went through practice yesterday and you know got some reps with the twos there in 7-on-7 and in team, and he's picked it up really, really fast, and you can tell he's a quick learner. And then Gabe is added depth. He's a different skill set than the other three guys we have in that room. Gabe is a big, strong, powerful guy that does have some elusiveness. He's a looser, more flexible athlete than probably you think when you look at him on the hoof. And you know those guys are, again, in a year like this, you can never have too much depth, and those guys are veteran guys that will add a lot of value to their respective rooms.
Mike, you have a question?
Yeah, Tom, you know, there's a lot of coaches don't like a lot of change, and you this year had 7 new coaches added to your staff. What has that been like for you to adjust, and what is the mesh between all of the coaches?
Not a whole lot. I know a lot is made of it, but you know these guys are all pros. These guys have all coached at very, very high levels, and they understand the gig when they come in. And the most difficult part of it was certainly being apart from your team for so long, and these guys not having the same opportunity to build and forge relationships with their players as you would have had in a normal year. And so that was a challenge, but one that was quickly remedied as soon as we got back face to face with our team. I think the players have certainly gravitated to them, and the mesh has been seamless. You know, Andre was on staff here with us before. You know, Mike Yursich and I have talked ball countless times. Chris Ash and myself had worked together before. So, you know, these aren't, you know, total strangers for the most part, just dropping them in and saying, hey, go coach. You know, this has been a collective effort with a group of new coaches that understand what it takes coming in new, and, you know, the importance of building relationships. But at the end of the day, football's football. And, you know, these guys have done a great job integrating themselves seamlessly to the way that we do things, and I couldn't be happier.
Go ahead.
Coach, why is your offensive line better with Derek Kerstetter playing center instead of playing tackle? And then how do those other two spots look with him moving inside?
Because Christian Jones is our 5th best offensive lineman right now, and he can't play center. So that is as simple of an answer as I can give you. In order to get the best 5 out there right now, it means playing Derek at center, and I think we all believe that he's got a future at that position at the next level as well. So, and then how to the right, I think I feel better today than I ever have with Denzel and Christian on the right side. Denzel has proven himself to be a very, very capable, above capable guard, and Christian, although very wet behind the ears, has done a very, very good job here this training camp.
Steven, you're up.
Hey, Tom, just wanted to ask you real quick. You know, Election Day is less than 2 months away now, and you know, with all of the emphasis that you guys have placed on players staying safe and limiting contact, will you allow your players to stand in line at the polls on Election Day and potentially like expose themselves, or are you guys trying to work out something with mail-in ballots, or you know, what exactly is your approach there?
I mean, well, to clarify, our team isn't quarantined right now. This isn't the NBA where we've got a bubble. So these guys go to the store, they go wherever. So I don't think the exposure standing in line to vote is any different than living your normal everyday life. And our guys understand. They know the precautions needed to take when you're in a large group. Certainly a large group that might be in the same area for an extended period of time. But no, I have no hesitation allowing our guys to vote. My plan, I haven't even told the team yet, but the plan is to give them that Tuesday off from any football-related activities and provide transportation for those that want to go vote, so that we can make sure that there really is no excuse not to go vote. And we're going to do our part as a program to facilitate that for them. And then it's up to them to decide if that's something they want to choose to participate in.
Brett, you have a question?
Yeah, Coach. What's the scout report on Utep, and how different is it you're playing an opponent who's played a game when you haven't played a game?
Football. Thanks, Brett. I appreciate it. The scouting report is, obviously, this is a team that's 1-0, a team that, like you said, has played a game. I think it is difficult. I think we all have been around this game long enough to know that the old adage usually is true, that teams make their biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2, and they've already had their game 1. We have not. And so they're going to have a chance this week and throughout the course of their game Saturday to have worked out some kinks that we're going to probably still be working out, to be quite honest with you. And that's okay. It beats the alternative of not playing at all. That's for sure. So, and then, their scouting report, I think Coach Dimmel does a great job offensively, very similar to Kansas State. Some very unique formations, a heavy dose of quarterback run game that you've got to always be prepared for. And then defensively, they jump in and out of two different fronts, an even front and an odd front, play a lot of different coverages. So, they're not going to be just tin soldiers out there where we're going to know where they're at all times. And so our offense, center and quarterback particularly, are going to have to be very, very dialed in to the different looks, blitzes, fronts, coverages that they can throw at us.
Steve, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, a couple things. First of all, talk about the tight end position a little bit, what you guys are expecting out of that this year, and more of a blocking situation. Are y'all going to try to get the ball to those guys more? And second of all, who has really surprised you from this camp? I know you've had extra time to look at guys, but I always come back to that. Is there some guy that comes out more than others so far?
What's your son's name, Steve?
It's Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. How are you?
Hey.
Hey, can you say hook 'em?
He can do it.
Come on, Nicholas. Give me a hook 'em. Come on, buddy. Oh, there we go. Nice job. No, I think the tight end position, we had the leading receiver in the country in the regular season last year, and then I get asked the question, well, why didn't your tight ends catch more balls? Well, there's only so many balls that can get thrown and caught. There's only so many players you can play on the field at one time. So, different seasons call for different emphases. So I think that is a very deep group, very talented and deep group. We have been forced to play a lot more 12 personnel than maybe what we're used to, and it's been great. I think all of them are versatile enough to so that you can get into 11 and 10 personnel formations with 12 personnel people, which gives you the added flexibility to jump into without changing personnel a true two tight end set. So will they catch more balls in years past? I don't know. We'll see how the season progresses, but I do know that they have provided an element of versatility to our offense that we haven't seen since we've been here, certainly because of the depth and talent level that these guys have.
Emily, you're up.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday, college football players released their 5-point plan of action to create real change. I saw some of your guys put out the image as well that was on Twitter, and one of the points is allowing them to have stuff on their helmets, on their jerseys, and have video tributes. I was wondering if you've talked to them about maybe messages that they want to have on their uniform, and if you guys are planning on doing that this season.
We have. I know the Big 12 is going to have a sticker on the back of their helmet, on everybody's helmet in the Big 12, and has also allowed, I don't know if it's an NCAA rule or a Big 12 rule, but our guys are allowed to have some kind of message on their uniform this year. And our leadership council decided that rather than 120 different messages, we were going to have one unified message that was going to be agreed upon by the team and sewn into a patch on the front of their jersey. So what that message is, I'm not quite sure. I have an idea, but honestly, I'm not sure if our leadership council is ready for me to tell the world what that message is going to be. But there will be one, as with all Big 12 teams, on the back of their helmet, and then for us specifically, we'll have a patch on our jersey.
Ed, go ahead.
Coach, when we see the new offense of the Longhorns on Saturday, will we have one of the players out there? What will be the wow factor for the fans? And does Mike like the trick play or creative play as much as you have in your past?
He better. No, he will. Yeah, that's something we've talked about, and you know, you practice him, you might as well run him in the game, and he's in definite alignment there. What will be the wow factor? Again, this wasn't a necessity to blow up and start from scratch. With the offense, you know, our quarterback had the second most productive season in UT history last season, and so and our offense, you know, finished in the top 15, top 10 in some certain categories as well. And so I think the noticeable difference, a few different formations, unique formations, as well as I think one of the things that Coach Yursich has brought is a very expansive menu of tempoed plays too. So you're probably going to see us maybe go a little bit faster as a norm throughout the course of a game, but still believing in the undulation of tempo is the best way to keep defenses, you know, on their heels. And then, you know, I don't know if the common fan is going to recognize, you know, some of the slight nuances in some of our route concepts, but we've added some brand new concepts and tweaked the way that we're teaching some of the other ones too. So, but I would think the wow factor is probably tempo would be the biggest noticeable difference.
I've got 4 questions left in the queue, and we'll have to wrap it up, but we'll start with Jeff.
Hey, Tom, with Barrett Neely being the running backs coach at Utep, I wanted to ask you about the 2005 season at Texas State and kind of go back to that. What was that like for you being a first-time play caller, and how much, if anything, from that season at Texas State is still kind of left over in what you now call the pro spread offense?
Oh, Barrick made my career. I mean, I'm not ever going to deny that. This was a young man that had star potential written all over him, and it was kind of the right place at the right time for both of us. And I'm forever indebted to him, his wife Tiffany, his children. He has been a godsend in our lives, the Herman family lives. And, you know, Barrick and I have stayed very, very close over the years, and was really happy when Coach Dimmel hired him off the field a couple years ago, and then to promote him to an on-the-field coach was a dream come true. I'm sure it was for him, but really for everybody that loves him and supports him and his family. couldn't happen to a better guy. Just a tremendous man. I almost said young man or kid, but I know he's probably, I don't know how old Barrick is these days, but he's probably pushing 40. But it makes me feel old when I think about it. But what has carried over? A lot, you know. I mean, football is football. We're still running inside zone read, still, you know, running the quarterback when necessary, and you know, a lot of the concepts in the throw game are still there. We've evolved. I think the nuts and bolts haven't evolved very much, but all the periphery things, all the bells and whistles and tweaks and nuances here and there, those are the things that have evolved over the years.
Marcus, you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the offensive line real quick. With Christian and Denzel stepping into starting roles, what kind of leadership role does Sam have with that group, just as a worker, and then has he progressed at all as a vocal leader?
Sam Ellinger?
Sam Cosme, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sam Cosme is a great leader, one that I do think he has progressed in his vocality, vocality, something like that. And him being more vocal has certainly shown up over the course of this training camp, and really throughout the quarantine days of the early stages of the pandemic. He did a great job leading his unit remotely, and you know, he's a guy that we're going to lean on quite a bit for leadership this season.